week 17 of the fantasy basketball season, and here it is, week 1 of the playoffs. But here's a few forwards I would drop off your roster if you have them this week. The first guy is Nicholas Batum of the Los Angeles Clippers. So Batum, he's a better real-life ball player than a fantasy ball player. Early in the season, he was doing great for fantasy basketball, was Batum, but the numbers have dropped off, and his playing time has gone down a little as well with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George back in the lineup, more consistent over the last couple months, even though Leonard, he missed about 2 weeks recently. But anyway, on the season, Nicholas Batum, 8.5 points a game, 4.9 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 1.1 steals a game, 1.8 threes, 84% from the foul line, and 45% from the field for Batum. So the last few weeks here, the numbers, they've gone up just a bit though. 9.7 points a game, 5.1 rebounds, 1.4 assists, 1.4 blocks, 1.7 threes, 45% from the field. But the thing is, Kawhi Leonard, like I mentioned, he just came back a couple nights ago. And the last 3 games since he has Nicholas Batum, his numbers are down. And he's just not giving owners enough of one thing. I know he's doing a little bit of everything, but it's just not enough, in my opinion, to have him rostered in 12-team leagues or deeper, or 10-team leagues, obviously. Was Batum the last 3 games? April 14th at Detroit, 7 points, 1 rebound, 1 steal, 1 block, 2 threes. April 16th at Philly, 3 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and a 3. And then he missed April 18th ball game versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. So we'll see if Batum comes back tonight at Portland. But like I mentioned, he don't score the basketball at a high rate when Kawhi Leonard's back in the lineup and George. Continue to see him struggle here while Leonard and George is in the lineup and not hold much fantasy value for the rest of the season. The next forward is Brandon Clark of the Memphis Grizzlies. So Clark, he was on the list last week as a drop candidate, but many owners still held on to him. He's owned in 59% of fantasy leagues still is Clark. On the season, he's ranked 104 with 11.1 points a game, 5.5 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 1.1 steals, 66% from the foul line, and 51% from the field for Clark. But the last couple weeks, his numbers have really dropped off. 6 points a game, 6 rebounds, 1.8 assists, 1 steal a game, 33% from the foul line, and 45% from the field. So Clark, he just can't get a rhythm going. His playing time has dropped off a little as well, only playing about 20 to 23 minutes a game here for this Memphis Grizzlies team. And he's just not a guy that's going to get you a high-scoring game or get you much of anything. He'll rebound and score the basketball, but that's about it for Clark. So the numbers have gone down. He missed 2 games last week with a little bit of an injury. And right now, I think he's an easy drop. And for him to be owned in 59% of leagues is way too much. The last 3 games for Clark: April 12th versus Chicago, 9 points, 9 rebounds, an assist, a steal, and a block. April 14th versus Dallas, 6 points, 6 boards, an assist, steal, and a block. Then he missed April 16th and 17th ball games at Chicago and at Milwaukee. And then the 19th at Denver, 4 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block. So those numbers, they're not going to get the job done. And his shooting attempts have gone down a lot as well. In the last few games for Clark that he's played, he's only had 15 shot attempts. So right now, his value is definitely down, and he's a player I definitely would drop this week unless you're in the deepest of leagues, 16 teams or deeper. And final forward, I'd look to drop this week's Jay Crowder of the Phoenix Suns. Crowder's a better real-life ball player than a fantasy basketball player. On the season, he's ranked 136th on the year, 10 points a game, 4.9 rebounds, 2.1 assists, 2.5 threes a game, 76% from the foul line, and 40% from the field here for Crowder. But the last few weeks, his ranking's gone down to 219 in the time, 8 points a game, 4.8 rebounds, 2.1 assists, 2.3 threes a game, 28% from the foul line, and he's hurting you bad at field goal percentage, 38% from the field. So Crowder, the last 4 games, he's just hit a tailspin, and he's not doing much for fantasy owners. And he's still playing anywhere from 25 to 30 minutes a game here for Phoenix. But Phoenix, it's been a good season for them. They're trying to compete for a title. Jay Crowder, he's going to help them in real life more than fantasy owners. And owners, they've dropped him in 4% of fantasy leagues so far this week. April 15th versus Sacramento, 5 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and a block, and a 3. April 17th versus San Antonio, 2 points, 4 boards, an assist and a block. And then last night in Milwaukee, 9 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 threes. So those numbers, they're mediocre to poor at best here for Crowder. And there's better options on the waiver wire that would be more all around for fantasy and obviously score the basketball more. Because Crowder, there's games where he could go off, and then there's stretches where he's only going to score 5 to 7 points a game. And right now, while it's week 1 of the playoffs of fantasy basketball, he's in a stretch where his points per game are way down, so he's an easy drop this week. And that's a few forwards I would look to drop here in week 17 of the fantasy basketball season.